To refer or not? That is the question. I'm Demo Dalianis,
And I'm Derek Barnadoe.
and we'll answer that question today. Welcome to the Real Estate Game Plan Podcast, where we bring you inspiration, actionable steps, and knowledge to build your game plan to take your real estate business to the next level. My name is Demo.
And I'm Derek, and we are licensed real estate brokers and your hosts for this podcast. Let's get started.
All right, so to refer or not, Derek, what does that mean?
So, Georgia real estate agents, licensees, right? So, when we get our real estate license, we're licensed in the entire state of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And so, oftentimes when we promote ourselves and we advertise, we take a big picture approach and say, hey, looking to buy or sell in Georgia, reach out to me, et cetera, et cetera. And it might be tempting to try to go ahead and work with everyone. But the truth is, for most of us, we're going to have a certain area that's going to be our home base
Mm-hmm.
that we're going to have access to in terms of MLS and super lock boxes, et cetera, et cetera. And when we try to go beyond that point, sometimes it can be challenging. And so that's when the question comes up: should
Mm-hmm.
I try to keep this client, work with them, keep the full commission, or should I refer it to another real estate broker, to another real estate agent? And when you do that, you can still earn a referral commission.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great topic because even if you're new or experienced, it comes up, right? The experienced agent is, I've always had my own transactions. These people trusted me to help buy or sell their first home or the last home they bought. So I need to go help them with this other purchase, even though it's 3 hours or 4 hours away. The state of Georgia, for those of you who are not in Georgia, the state of Georgia, you can travel 6 hours from the border to border. I mean, there's some distance here. So to say it's in Georgia, I'm here to help all people who are in the state of Georgia, kind of takes away, your ability to focus and really know, what's happening in that area or neighborhood. Or whatever you're focused on for your real estate business. But new agents, especially, I hear say, someone in 3 hours south of where I typically operate, they want to buy or sell a property. How can I help them even though it's in that other MLS or it's in this other city, or where do I get the stats or the E key? So, really thinking about what we're talking about today might help you, number one, get started on the right foot. And number two, if you're already experienced, may help you think a little bit more about your highest, dollar producing activities, which is probably not driving.
Yes. And keeping on that theme, let's just say that maybe it is an Atlanta based agent and it is a buyer
Hmm.
who is looking to purchase a property 3 hours south of Atlanta. And the agent does try to maintain that prospect,
Hmm.
right? Writing a contract is really not the problem.
Hmm.
It's getting into the house,
Yep.
though, because at that point, you're not a member of that MLS, most likely. And so you were then dependent on the listing agent or
Hmm.
another agent to let you in. So, right off the bat, the
Yeah.
impression, and not that some listing agents, a lot of listing agents may be very happy to let you in. In general, they're not huge fans of doing, and in some
Yeah.
cases, they're commissioned. I know we're not talking about commission specifically, but in some cases, commissions reduced
Hmm.
when listing agents show the property. So you're asking the listing agent right off the bat, "Hey, I'm not from this area. Would
Right.
you be kind enough to let me and my buyer into the property?" And you run into other issues too, because also with comps,
Yeah.
maybe the buyer absolutely falls in love with the property, but they would like to see what other property similar to that one is actually being sold for.
Yeah.
You don't have access to those.
That's right. Plus, your point about that, if they go see a property 3 hours south, maybe another half hour southwest is also an area they're looking at once they get there, right? So, your 3 hour may turn into 3.5 or 4 hour commute, and maybe there's multiple weekends to go see property. So, the whole thing about being able to represent your client with your client's best interest, right? I mean, we want to help them as best possible. is the fact that you're driving 3, 2.5, even sometimes an hour, right? Which is pretty difficult to get around 285 in Atlanta without spending an hour in the car. But so maybe an hour is okay here. But anything over that, are you really representing your client? Because are you spending your time being able to research properties, research stats, and really know how to help that client best possible? So things to think about. Ultimately, we really want to focus on that, but that is a big question from new and experienced agents is, I want to keep working with this person even though it's way outside of the area that I typically focus on.
Yes, and the best interest of the client should be our number one goal, in
Yes.
my opinion. And I also am a big believer in being very transparent with the parties that we work with.
Hmm.
And it won't be a secret that my service area is not 3 hours south of where I live.
Right.
And they may be okay with that at first because maybe they're an old friend or whatnot. But as things progress and as if issues come up, they may have themselves wished that I
Hmm.
had just referred it. So let's also talk about referrals in Georgia.
Hmm.
So we can earn a referral commission when we refer a buyer, seller, landlord, tenant, whatever the case may be,
Hmm.
to another real estate broker agent to work with.
Yes.
We do need to get their written permission to be referred and disclose to them that we may receive a referral commission. And that's really the first thing. And
Hmm.
so if you're a Georgia licensee and you're listening to us, know that that is the number one thing that most agents forget to get. But it is an unfair trade practice if we don't get it. So the GAR, Georgia Association of Realtors, they have a referral authorization form.
Hmm.
There are other contract forms out there that have one too. And that is in addition to, of course, the broker to broker referral agreement. And that one confirms the commission.
Hmm.
And that's the one that most of us are going to remember. But hey, maybe that's going to be in the best interest of the client. And still, it's a win win because you can still receive that commission when they close.
Yeah, great points, Derek. And if we really think about holistically what we're talking about in this session, uh, you know, figuring out you as the agent, where do you want to operate your real estate business? Where do you want to specialize? And maybe it's not 100% just an area or a neighborhood or a 10-mile radius. Maybe you also incorporate into that the type of client: first time home buyer, move up home buyer, move down home buyer, senior living, those type. So maybe you have that, and then also incorporate it into an area or a neighborhood. But if you can really think about that and really focus on a tighter area, it's sort of freeing because it feels like, okay, when I'm creating this ad, when I'm creating this mailer or video, who is my end user? Who am I focused on making sure that I present this topic to? And it's typically hard to think about everyone who's going to buy or sell. That's who I'm presenting this topic or marketing to, because print media is very expensive. Postcards, things like that. So if you're sending 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 plus of those out, but you're just kind of spraying the, who that's being sent to, you're not really focused, because then when those calls come in, you're going to say, where were you and what type of buyer are you? Versus if you're sending out a specific focus message and also to a specific area. Now, when you start interacting with people who've received those, you already know what the message was. You already know who that client is and probably around about where they live or maybe even where they want to move to.
Yes, because as a real estate agent, you don't have to specialize in every category. Maybe you love working with sellers, but you don't really enjoy working with buyers all that much. Maybe you don't enjoy leases. A lot
Hmm.
of agents don't prefer to handle lease transactions, and those are ideal transactions to refer prospects to refer out as well.
Definitely, definitely. So, um, Derek, what is your opinion on the best way to find an agent to refer that person to when they come across?
Well, there are different ways that you can do it. You can visit realtor.com. Realtor.com does have a pretty good search tool. You
Hmm.
can look at brokerage firm profiles and individual agent profiles. You can also go online and you can search that area and you can pick up the phone and you can call. And I am absolutely not against calling a real estate company in an area and asking them for a recommendation. Can you recommend an agent that consistently does a good job? It may not be their top performer. A lot of times we think we need to refer this prospect to the number one agent at XYZ Realty. It may not be that person. That agent may be super busy.
Hmm.
So it may be someone else, but then at least it's not a blind referral. That's
Hmm.
what you want to avoid, because our reputation, your reputation, is everything in this industry.
Hmm.
And if we just blind refer this prospect to someone based on a profile and really didn't call the agent, didn't do any homework at all, and it turns out to be an agent that doesn't do a good job, then that's not going to be good for us either.
Yeah, good point. So here at Solid Source, we do cover a very large area
Yes.
in Georgia. And so, what about within Solid Source?
Well, we are always happy to make personal recommendations on the broker team. We have a Solid Source agent Facebook community
Hmm.
for our agents where they can converse, they can receive assistance on open houses, and they can ask for referrals for agents that work in specific areas. So that's really a great tool for our agents in house.
Yes, yes, I like that idea, Derek. Well, I think anything else you want to chat about on this topic?
Well, I think it's a great topic, and I think that you brought up some awesome points for real estate agents, because it's not just that one deal. It's a long term approach, right?
That's
As
right.
you were saying. So instead of focusing on, I really need this particular deal, but the service to the client is going to suffer, should heavily consider a
Hmm.
referral in those cases for sure.
Yeah, and one thing we didn't necessarily touch on specifically, but if that person is ready to buy or sell, they already know, like, and trust you, and the person you're referring, the agent you're referring that person to is sort of an extension of you. It's negotiable, right? The commission, between the referral commission, is a negotiable item. So don't let that hinder the way that you do this type of a transaction.
Absolutely. We are always happy to make recommendations on the broker team, look at drafts, all that good stuff. It is the commission's always 100% negotiable though.
Yep. So we'd love to hear back from you, and any questions you might have. I'm Demo.
I'm Derek.
Thank you for watching. You've been listening to the Real Estate Game Plan podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube and leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you for listening.